What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, and this is my top 10 favorite Allman Brothers songs. I just did the album, so now I'm doing the songs. My favorites. Don't think there's any really surprises here. Maybe a couple deep cuts, but only because they're from later albums that I generally don't know what the general consensus is on later albums. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of just pretty obvious songs on here. They're just stone cold classics. That's my argument. How did we get here from Zappa? Whip and Post. Yeah, somebody called it out as a song to play. He ended up turning it into the best Montana ever. Then Zappa covered it in the 80s. Yeah, all right. That's it. I'm just going to go through them from number 10 all the way to number 1. And then at the end, I'll put the list on the screen so you don't have to keep track. And then, yeah, that's it. I will start off by saying that there are only 4. Thought it was more. But 4 of the tracks are the instrumental tracks from whatever album. You know, they're the instrumental highlight of the particular album they're from, which I think in a lot of the Allman Brothers albums, that instrumental track, that instrumental showcase, that jazzy little Dickie Betts type thing, usually is the best track on most albums. 4 of them made the list. So anyways, here we go. Number 10, I'm going to say this. First time I heard this song, I did not like it, but I thought it was a little cheesy. Thought it was a little too poppy, a little too rocky, a little too just like upbeat. And then the second time I heard it, I was like, yeah, it's still really poppy, but man, it's catchy. And then the third time I was like, man, I really like that piano. Then when that slide kicks in, then after a while I was just like, you know what? I ain't wasting time no more hating on this song because it's just a stone cold upbeat, even though the lyrics are a little bit like, maybe not the most optimistic. I mean, the sunshine looked like rain. Yeah, that's not a good thing. But really good energy, and I love the vibe. I love the playing. The production is fantastic. Everybody's performance is fantastic. But the opening track on Eat a Peach, Ain't Wasting Time No More, just an absolutely gets me every time. Again, took me a while to come around to, but I just think it's such a great, got such good Southern rock / pop energy. Fantastic song. Number 9, the almost title track from Where It All Begins, Back Where It All Begins. Their little sort of, always thought of this as a little Grateful Dead homage. Some definite Franklin's Tower energy in this. Nice, really jammy, really loose, just really, this is what I want to hear. Like, this is why I like live music. Just a band having a good time, laying down some good energy. If it's got to be a Franklin's Tower energy, I have been at shows when they played at Franklin's Tower, and I was disappointed because it turned out not to be very good. But maybe that was once or twice. But anytime they started at Franklin's Tower, I was always in the best of moods because who didn't want to hear that? And this is just a really good, upbeat, just a good, jammy, loose Allman Brothers, late period jammy jam band song. Back Where It All Begins, my number 9. Number 8, the song that follows that on the album, which I think is possibly their best sort of post that latter phase of their career from like 7 Turns On, I think Soul Shine might be the single best track they wrote in that period. Though there is one on this list that's higher, but it's an instrumental. So it's a jammy number. But this is Soul Shine, I think is the best song they wrote. It's another one of those that to me just feels like iconic in a way. Like the minute it was written, it was like, oh, this song had to be written. And it had to be written by like a bluesy Southern rock band, slow burn style, like a little bit of energy, but also a little bit kind of intense and very bluesy and just coming from the heart and coming from the soul and just, yeah. Of course, Daddy's involved in it because all the good like bluesy Southern rock advice stories, Daddy's giving good advice or Mama's giving good advice. Just Soul Shine. First time I heard this song, I was like, yeah, is that a cover? Like, I thought this was a cover of of a long forgotten classic for the first couple times till I discovered it wasn't. I just absolutely love Soul Shine. Number 7, also another song from one of their later albums, Kind of Bird. But it's the instrumental off Shades of Two Worlds. It's very jazzy, kind of quick pace, a little up-tempo jazz number, nice solos in there, nice and long and jammy and jazzy. And this is exactly what the Allman Brothers did well on almost every album. Dropped one good 8-minute or so instrumental track that they could just stretch out their wings and just fly. And This Kind of Bird is exactly one of those songs. Comes towards the end of Shades of Two Worlds. Really, really, really good track. Number 6, almost the exact opposite of Shades of Two World. Shorter, succinct, like 3 minutes of just like, not really sure what it is, but it's an Americana, Southern rock, country, traveling, woe, heartbroken, longing for love. Melissa, another Eat a Peach track. Just everything about Melissa, the performance, the brevity of it. I mean, it's only about 3 minutes long. Just Allman's vocals, the lyrics, the mystery of Melissa. Just absolutely perfect little nugget of a song. Southern rock, little acoustic driven, with beautiful just band playing all around it. Absolutely. Every time I hear that, just the performance, I just feel like, I don't know, there's longing in here. There's some kind of something in there that just like touches a nerve in me, that just strikes a nerve that just I connect with. And just phenomenal song. Number 5, It's Not My Cross to Bear. I split the two, and I didn't put the first one on here because it's technically a cover. It is a cover. I put It's Not My Cross to Bear on here as the opening track. You have this little instrumental cover jammy song, and then we go into this, the first official like written by Allman Brothers song we would ever hear on their debut album. And it just starts off with this just digging in, bluesy style, but Southern rock bluesy, and then Allman just starts singing. It's just absolutely kicks off that album, like the band's introduction to the world with that. Just the first 20 seconds of this song is phenomenal, but then they just continue on for like 5 more minutes, and it's just it is one of the most, just everything they do captured in a 5-minute bottle. Second track on their first album. What a fantastic song and album. Number 4 is Jessica, really upbeat. The instrumental off Brothers and Sisters really starts off with this awesome, like, great acoustic riff, and then the whole band comes in. We get some really nice solos in it. The energy is really upbeat, a little bit jazzy at times, but just a really fun, upbeat song. All over the radio in LA in the 70s, and I turned it up every time it came on. Fantastic song, Jessica. Number 3 is High Falls, which was off one of their last albums. Why am I forgetting which album High Falls was on? But this is like Santana meets Mahavishnu Orchestra with like a Steely Dan production, like 70s shine on it. But what album is that on? Just an absolutely fantastic. I think it's on Win, Lose, or Draw. Yeah, it's on Win, Lose, or Draw. So anyways, that's the song I thought was on a later album. No, it's on Win, Lose, or Draw. Just an absolutely fantastic. I think it's there. I mean, that's why it's at number 3. Well, no, one's higher. One of their best instrumental jammy songs, but this one has so many different flavors in it and so many different vibes, and they're picking up so many different pieces. And the recording of the album was apparently like a sort of, they did not get along. And maybe it's reflected in this, and that it just seems like there is so much going on in the song, and everybody's venting with different solos and different ideas. But it all comes together and works. It's like 14 minutes long. It's an absolute slice of just like, it's just heaven, man. Just such a fantastic song. It is on Win, Lose, or Draw, right? I don't know why I'm blanking on that right now. Yeah, High Falls, 14 and a half minutes. So anyways, that's my number 3. Number 2 is the first, pretty much, other than the opening track on the album, their first kind of official album feature instrumental, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. Just such a perfect composition. Just so, it's like so economical and so efficient in like the actual written composition of it. You get the little weird kind of psyche part of it, and then you just go into these awesome solos, and then you finish it off at the end. It's just such a perfect, like, 7 minutes or so of just like, of 7 minutes of just perfection. It's just such, it's them at their instrumental best. And like, I really think like almost every instrumental song after this was like, well, we need to do another In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. So they kind of took that as a template or something that had to be on every album, much to their credit, because it is some of their best playing throughout their discography are those instrumental things. But In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, absolutely perfect. This is such a perfect studio version. The version on Live at the Fillmore East is even more epic. Yeah, great song. And my number one favorite Allman Brothers song is on their first album. They named it Box Set after it. It is just, I think, such a great, great slow burning ballad of a classic Southern rock. I don't even know what it is. Kind of walking bass line, drenched in organ. Dreams. Absolutely love Dreams. You know, just one more morning. The performance by Greg Allman. Had to wake up with the blues. That when they go into the dun, but they don't really like ever let the tension release, because anytime we get that dun, it always goes back to this doom, doom, doom. We always go back to this like just kind of chill, somber, walking bass line thing, because it's like the dreams are never maybe ever actually actualized. So you can never get that release. You always go back to that doom, hung up on dreams. And you always just go back down to this sort of like, hung up vibe. It's weird. It's a great song. Dreams by the Allman Brothers. Yeah, that's it. Those are my 10 songs. That's what they look like in typewritten form right there on the screen. Some of the songs that weren't on the list are not on there either because I've just heard them way too many times, or because I've heard them way too many times. And a couple of these on the top 10 list I've heard too many times, but yeah, I could still hear them more. But anyways, those are my favorite Allman Brothers songs. Let me know what yours are in the comments. I don't have a lot of new stuff, obviously. The only thing that made it recently, I guess we did have 2 tracks off Where It All Begins. But, you know, the newer stuff I've kind of only experienced live. So if there are new studio tracks from like those later 4 albums, 7 Turns On, and you think are top 10 worthy, drop them in the comments. I promise I will check them out because I always do. But that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. And go listen to Dreams, people, because that is a perfect song. Peace. Talk to you later.